Everything went wrong after in the year 2025 tombs appeared all over the world. These tombs caused large earthquakes as they appeared, and within these tombs were things known as relics. These relics were the reason the world started changing, just like it was written in the ancient myths, sagas, legends, folktales, and epics. These relics held enormous powers in them and had various abilities. The existence of these relics in human hands did a huge impact on people's lives as they spread more and more to different parts of the world. People started dedicating their life to finding these relics, just like Juhyun, a 38-year-old man, but all his pain and suffering ended when he finally found Outcast's relic. Its special ability was to give extensive knowledge about tombs to the owner and other important information regarding relics, but before Juhyun could use the relic, a new law was imposed by the government. Those who found many relics started monopolizing the world. They stopped just anyone from entering the tombs, and the only option left was to work for the hungry businessmen. Juhyun did recognize by a similar businessman Tae-jun, who was the CEO of a company. After that there was no looking back. He did extremely difficult work as a thief, a smuggler, and even a spy, but the most important job he had to do was to become a tomb raider. The team Juhyun presented massive results, leading the CEO to become the strongest relic user in the world. Irrespective of all the hard work Juhyun did, everyone called him to trash for being the foot of a dictator. CEO was threatened by the outstanding skills of Juhyun's team, so he purposefully sent them on an impossible mission, and now he is here in front of a dragon-faced snake. He could never believe that after looting so many tombs he will be facing such a dog-like death. Juhyun grunted looking at the snake. It is not satisfied even after eating all of his comrades. He further threatened him that if the snake eats him he will rip off his insides and will harm him even after becoming a ghost. Suddenly a voice fell in Juhyun's ears complaining about how noisy he has been for a few minutes. Juhyun ordered the voice to make the snake go and let him leave humbly, but the voice pointed to Juhyun's feeble condition. He is without a leg and has so much blood loss. He is just a guest of the world for a bit more time. The voice felt sorry for Juhyun, who wasn't even able to use his skill to the fullest before reaching his death in such a way. Juhyun explained in grief that he didn't want to lead a life like this. It was all because of the situations he had to go through. As he shouted in pain that he will do anything to take revenge on the CEO who led him to such a situation in his life. The voice laughed in amusement as he announced that he will give Juhyun one more chance to do something in his life and to acquire the throne of the king for himself. As a beautiful but crow-like bird appeared out of nowhere, flashing immense light, forcing him to shut his eyes close. Juhyun opened his eyes and found out that his legs are back as he stood up in excitement. Juhyun looked around to find himself in a police station. Juhyun was shocked to find out that he is back in the year 2025. The same year all the tombs appeared as the policeman got more and more frustrated, asking him what his name was. Juhyun recognized another high school student who got into a fight after both of them got drunk, leaving them at the police station. Juhyun couldn't believe how he has traveled back in time and was quite in shock until he realized that now he has a chance to collect all the relics back and rule, as all his previous knowledge and skills are still intact. Juhyun was still trying to process how magical and surprising his day has been as he come out of his dream world when he heard the high school student's mom scolding him for hitting her son and now not even paying attention to her. Juhyun remembered the whole incident from 15 years ago when the student hit him first. But before Juhyun could explain anything, the aunt tried to hit him. Then the boy attempted to hit Juhyun, but being a professional at such cases for the last 15 years before the time travel, he has easily blocked all of them. Juhyun announced that he has no money to give them as settlement money and will take jail time instead. The jail time or criminal records won't matter after the relics appear, as the world will aimlessly move towards lawless chaos then. Juhyun unbelievingly started seeing floating texts right in front of his eyes. He could see different status tabs right in front of him as his current status was registered at rank F. Suddenly a quest window appeared in front of him. The quest window asked him to find the 4 hidden skills with him to become a tomb raider. Juhyun currently has only one skill, which leads him to see details of anything which is 1 meter around him, just like he previously had from his Outcast relic. Juhyun understood that he just acquired 1 skill from 4 and had a long way to go. Also, now that he already has a skill from Outcast relic, he must target other relics. Detective Kim Jin-woo bailed Juhyun out of the jail. Kim Jin is just like Juhyun's big brother who adopted him at a small age when he was an orphan. Juhyun asked him if any suspicious paranormal activities were reported recently, but Juhyun questioned a joke and continues with his complaint about his wife. Juhyun bids farewell as he walks by the alley in confusion about how he will money to go to Europe and other foreign countries to loot other tombs, but suddenly some men confront him. The view of the men made Juhyun smile as he exclaimed that he finally found a way to earn. It was Kyung-tae at the front. Kyung-tae, who was a street thug in past, now is an art broker with his older sister who used to make Juhyun work for them and also bullied him for a long time. He remembered how back in high school Juhyun needed some quick money, so he decided to work for Kyung-tae, but when he wanted to leave, they bullied him into work for them. This time things were different. The moment he tried to attack Ju-hyun, he counter-attacked him, putting him in his place and knocking him down at once. He couldn't understand how the same Ju-hyun who didn't know even a BC of fighting could just counter-attack him like that and considered it as a fluke. Ju-hyun announced that he will not work for them now and they should give all his pending payments and severance pay right now, but again another man took him as a joke and tried to attack him, but the response was all the same. Ju-hyun started beating all the men that tried to attack him until suddenly one of them pulled out a knife that was supposed to be traded and was a relic in itself. He explained that even though usually in tombs some relics hide in human society, he snatched the knife from the man and swiftly used it, cut two men swiftly. He used its ability and recognized that it can see the inner working of a human being and cut another two. He commanded the men to hand over whatever they have. The beaten men woke up after some time just to tell their older sister that they have given all the money they had in their bank account to Ju-hyun. He also took the shiny, expensive-looking Buddha statue they had acquired. The old sister got furious to know that they have lost possession of the statue and ordered the men to instantly get the Buddha statue, accounting for how expensive and important that statue was. Ju-hyun took the shiny Buddha statue to a pawn shop just to find out that it wasn't that expensive. He left the shop wondering why the men would try to hide the statue like that if it wasn't that expensive. Suddenly he notices a smell from the statue as a tab appears in front of him. Ju-hyun understands the situation and instantly opens up the statue and finds a liquid drug inside it. This type of drug is used in front of cigarettes. Ju-hyun was disappointed to know that now they have also started smuggling drugs. Meanwhile, the older idea didn't have any idea how to handle the absence of the statue when suddenly Ju-hyun's big brother, the police detective, appeared in the office she was in. He confesses that he already knows that she has been smuggling drugs in form of drugs and has already raided all other warehouses she had and is here to put her in jail. She wondered how they were able to open the warehouses even though they were password protected, to which the detective confused her more by saying that someone just helped them, whereas in reality Ju-hyun just has such a good memory that he just opened all of them, as he used to work in these warehouses in his previous life and he memorized them because he just thought that it would be easier. Ju-hyun before leaving for the jail just taunted her and left in hopes to get the reward money for bringing so much money to the government. Later the detective messaged Ju-hyun that he will be receiving 100k won as a reward and he must not spend it carelessly. Ju-hyun was relieved a bit to find out that now he has the starting money to go to foreign continents and get the relics before the CEO can win. Ju-hyun reaches his home just to find out that nothing is there but a huge pile of mud. Ju-hyun immediately recognized that it is not a pile of mud but a tomb made by a relic. Everyone was confused and worried as their house disappeared, and such tombs and relics were not common till that time. An army man was pointing his gun at Ju-hyun's friend as he asked him to stop asking questions in panic. Ju-hyun rescued his roommate and inquired why a policeman is handling a case, local policeman, and it's illegal for an army man to point his gun at a local civilian. On asking for any details about the tomb, the armyman denied revealing anything as it is all classified information. Ju-hyun couldn't help but wonder if the government of Korea already know about the existence of tombs and relic. He further threatened the man by saying that he will complain to higher authorities that he was aiming his gun toward a civilian, which will result in huge steps against him. Ju-hyun finally found out that the army men are here to explode that tomb and excavate the contents held within it. The army man assured Ju-hyun that he doesn't need to worry as the government has already asked to bring in foreign experts from America and Japan to help in the situation and there will be no harm to him or the surroundings. Meanwhile, Ju-hyun saw the CIA agent Linda and Japanese excavator Abe Kiyoshi arguing with each other about who should take the relic. He decided that he will not let anyone else take his relic, and also that the ones who came from Japan and America are immature as unknown to what a tomb glyph is. Ju-hyun found the tomb glyph of the tomb. Relics introduced themselves with the help of tomb glyphs. Tomb glyphs have all details about the tomb, like where the entrance is, where all traps are placed, and everything else. Ju-hyun deciphers the tomb glyph and earned the title of decipherer and earned another F-rank skill in linguistics. Ju-hyun searched for the gate where the entrance of the tomb is and found it a bit far under a bridge, as got ready to finally enter the tomb. The moment Ju-hyun strikes the entrance gate with his dagger, a notification popped up saying an intense aura is rushing toward him as the gate emitted a lot of light. Both the foreign agents got alerted by the light and rushed towards it. Ju-hyun activated some traps just to keep the foreigners away from him and not let them catch up to him. He moved forward to a clean blue water body and threw his only dagger into it. A huge white serpent came out of the water and presented a gold and silver dagger to him, but Ju-hyun was prepared for it. The relic is called gold and silver axes, based on the famous folklore from one of Aesop's fables. On denying, the serpent presented another dagger which was the same as he threw in the water. He asked once more to check his weapon and slashed the serpent with the dagger, as he knew that the serpent would trick him and not give him the true relic. Traditionally, if a person can pass the trial, he is rewarded with a relic. The relic will make a mutual bond with the owner and provide him with various abilities, but relics have always hated human beings and their sole purpose is to harm them, hence after spending some time with them the owners would eventually suffer from some kind of sickness. Ju-hyun started giving the serpent immense pain so that he can make the relic his slave in his dominance. The serpent cried in pain, but Ju-hyun had no plans to stop whatever he was doing. One needs the talent to utilize the relics. The scholars have classified such into 3 types. Sociability is the ability to have healthy relationships with the relics. Dominance, the power to charismatically demand obedience from the relic. And compatibility, the strong affinity between the user and the relic as if they were a match made in heaven. Ju-hyun learned that sociability is the easiest to earn through social interactions, but is harmful at a later stage of living as the person grows different sicknesses after getting exposed to the relic for a long time. So, he decided to use other ways to get relics this time. By dominance, where he would force the relic to become obedient by different measures like pain and fear of getting broken. The serpent lost all his patience and strength to handle pain and turned into a beautiful gold pickaxe as he cursed Ju-hyun with all his might. Ju-hyun earned another title of the one who experienced the tombs and also tomb excavation skills, which represents his increased knowledge about tombs. As he was about to leave, another window popped up. Ju-hyun earned another title of rank abuser as he used dominance on the serpent to earn the relic and make it obedient. He still wondered how this even abuse of rank, his dominance skill increased and his sociability decreased down to D, but it didn't bother him at all as he affirmed his decision to not sociability in any case. Ju-hyun hid behind the wall as the other 2 foreigners finally reached the lake. They threw a bottle in hope that the serpent will come, but nothing happened, representing that the relic has already been taken and was left there confused. The Japanese excavator revealed that his country has possession of the prophecy relic by mistake. The idea of getting rid of them came across Ju-hyun's mind, but when he checked the dagger's life and usage it was already 50%, so he decided to let them live for now. Ju-hyun left the tomb through the exit gate, which opened in a manhole. He closed it using the relic he earned, leaving it in crumbles. Ju-hyun went back to his home, which returned to normal the moment he closed the tomb using his relic. After coming inside the home, he kept on searching more about the relics in different languages on his computer using his linguistic skill, but nothing worth mentioning came up even after a lot of searching. Ju-hyun asked his roommate about the CEO of the company TKBM he used to work for, but was not able to give any important information he could use. Afterward, he started searching the art galleries of the company to extract some important information he could get about the company. On the other side, the men who used to bully Ju-hyun were now jobless and filled with the grief of losing their older sister, and were filled with the fire of revenge for Ju-hyun. They were just planning how to take revenge when suddenly Hyungnim's mobile rang. It was Ju-hyun only. Everyone panicked looking at the caller ID, but they finally picked up the call. Ju-hyun asked them if they are still in business and to go to Mythical. Mythical is the world's largest secret auction house located in Las Vegas and is known to hold the world's greatest treasures. Ju-hyun ordered them to attend Mythical and locate the CEO, who must be there and all to collect relics in the auction. He even said that Ju-hyun will pay them money if they provide important information, to which they agreed after a little bit of threatening. Ju-hyun calmed himself down as his business with Taejun was settled now and he could completely focus on the relic hunting he would begin tonight as he packed all his supplies and weapons and got ready. Ju-hyun encountered the same Japanese excavator who was near the old tomb, representing that the next tomb will be appearing somewhere near, only as the Japanese acquired the prophetic relic which would tell the owner prophecies related to relics. The excavator grunted for standing in the narrow path. Ju-hyun could easily sense a relic in his pocket as he didn't know how to suppress its aura. Ju-hyun acted as if he spilled some beer on him by mistake as he sneaked into his pockets and found that it was a small case of relic. He decided that he will take it from the excavator once he is not that obvious and suspicious. Ju-hyun left the place as a huge sound occurred from somewhere, representing that a new tomb is about to appear. The Japanese excavator received another prophecy that the Korean looter was just around him, but it was too late as Ju-hyun was nowhere to be found now. The Japanese excavator now somewhat knew that probably it is Ju-hyun who took the relic last time and is again here to take his possessions. He caught up to Ju-hyun, who was near the tomb which just appeared, and pointed his gun at him, but suddenly before Ju-hyun could answer any of his questions, the ground crumbled. Some more men, including Ju-hyun and the excavator, fell to the floor below. Ju-hyun recognized the tomb as he has already been here in his previous life. This is the tomb of Japanese katana relic Muramasa. Muramasa was a famous swordsmith in Japan during the Muromachi period and was the founder of the Muramasa school. The katanas made by Muramasa were famous for their magnificent build, but they had a very bad relationship with the shogun Tokugawa Ieyasu, who slayed his grandfather, father, and brother with the swords made by Muramasa. The shogun ordered the destruction of all the Muramasa blades, and rumors were spread that the blades were cursed. The hatred from the relic was slowly damaging Ju-hyun's body. He pushed the excavator into a trap, snatched his relic, and hurried further into the tomb. The excavator had no choice but to beg the people around to help him come out of the trap. Joo-hyun received the rope bracelet relic from Korean folklore, the brother and sister who became sun and moon. The story followed that the tiger killed the mother to get the rice cakes, and the siblings was saved by a rope that descended from the heavens. Joo-hyun gained another title of the Petty Pick More Pocket and the skill Nimble Fingers, which would let Joo-hyun know how to use a relic just by touching it, and his ability to repair relics will also increase. With this, the quest to collect the 4 skills finally ended, and Joo-hyun got notified that his reward can be claimed after the clearance of the tomb. Joo-hyun heard voices from a deep pit. He approaches it and found out that a girl with a knife is attacking everyone else. Of course, it was whole a trap. Joo-hyun understood that the girl was possessed. No doubt she can't listen to anything. Anyone who touches the knife will get possessed by the relic, which will lead to everyone getting possessed and killing each other. The Japanese man threw all of them in the pit and ran away to the place where the real relic would be. Joo-hyun had no choice but to go down to save everyone else. He used his rope relic to tie the girl. The relic started laughing the moment Joo-hyun held the knife, assuming that now he will get possessed, but nothing happened as the level of the relic was too low to control Joo-hyun. The girl who was possessed was now back to normal and cried for someone to save her as the rope started doing perverted talks to her. He asked everyone to follow him, and he is not a bad person. Joo-hyun threw the knife as he moved forward to the main area where the boss relic would be present. In the main area where the boss relic was present along with many normal swords, the excavator tried to find the main one, but before he could, the men he threw in the pit were now here as they started beating him together. Joo-hyun arrived at the location and asked the golden axe where the valuable high relic is, and the relic sword started shining. Even though right now the relic was in such a broken state, it will reveal its real form when it's activated. The relic activated and asked Joo-hyun that to utilize the power of the sword he must give the katana 10 sacrifices, as it requires human blood to get restored. Everyone got scared as they imagined Joo-hyun coming towards them to kill them, but Joo-hyun did things differently. Instead of sacrificing people, he started to dominate the relic again, and he threatened to break it into pieces if it doesn't restore itself. Joo-hyun ordered the Muramasa to obey him, and after a lot of resistance, the relic turned normal. Joo-hyun provided everyone with the rope relic to climb back up and leave the place. Abe the excavator tried to blend in with the crowd and tried to run away, but was caught by Joo-hyun. He asked him if he is planning to go after the people after they leave to tomb, to which he promised that he isn't planning anything like that. He also offered that his government will give him a lot of money and data from the prophecy relic if he works for them. Joo-hyun agreed to rescue him on the condition that he must be the last person to leave. While both of them were climbing the excavator, Abe mentioned that the famous group TKBM is working with the Japanese government. Joo-hyun kicked Abe from the rope and he fell with no way to come up. The roof fell on him, taking his life as begged for help with all his might and hope. Joo-hyun evacuated from the tomb and entered the washroom to get fresh. He eased a bit down and took out the relics, which were just panicking and fighting with each other in the back. Irritated by Muramasa's constant complaining, Joo-hyun threw him in the toilet pot as a punishment. Joo-hyun pulled his sleeve up just to find a huge scar on his wrist. He complained that it was all because of Muramasa's resistance and his decision of forceful dominance. To obtain any relics, the normal process would be to pass the trials given by the relics, but as Joo-hyun ignored this procedure, he had to suffer damage induced by the relic in form of resistance. The magnitude of resistance increases with the rank of the relic, implying that the stronger the relic, more damage will be induced to the oppressor. Joo-hyun realized that his body won't be able to continue this path of dominance for long, but he does not have much choice as he can't do much the way of sociability and will eventually get betrayed. Another tab popped up as it was time to finally claim the reward for completion of the 4th skill quest, which was pending. The tab offered 2 choices to Joo-hyun. One led to the path of sociability, and the second one led to the path of dominance, as if the crow wanted to know what path Joo-hyun is finally going to take. On choosing the path of dominance, a silver pill was summoned in his pocket. It was stated that it is a relic and is a consumable, but nothing else worth information was given in context. Joo-hyun took a bet as he ate the silver pill and took out stinky Muramasa from the toilet pot. Suddenly, there was a jerk in Joo-hyun's body. All the wounds, including the one he got from Muramasa, got healed by the pill. Joo-hyun also gained the tolerance immunity skill as he withstood the poisonous side effects of the relic. By now, the whole world got updated about the weird and unexpected series of events that occurred in the Juhyeonil Yungbyongpo district Joo-hyun was part of. The victims told the news channels that they saw a wall of swords, dangerous traps, and unknown structures too. They also told them about the Japanese excavation team member who was trying to hurt them. Such a piece of negative news about the Japanese government couldn't be tolerated. The responsible men got scolded by the higher board members of the excavation board meeting in Japan. They mentioned that they are now capable of tagging the Korean man who brought all this misfortune to them using the future relic guide, and the TKBM team is also putting an effort for the same cause. Joo-hyun received Kyung-tae's call, who was out in Vegas to get the whereabouts of JK Aka, the CEO, in the Midas auction. Kyung mentioned that 3 people registered their names as JK in the auction. Joo-hyun suddenly received the notification that his future is being read by a rank S relic. Joo-hyun notified Kyung that he will be coming to Vegas soon, but before that he must go to one more place. Joo-hyun was now pissed off by the doings of the Japanese excavation team and their Prince Shotoku's future guide. Prince Shotoku was a politician and a regent during the Asuka period of Japan, and the future guide was a prophetic sutra written by him. There is not much proof that this item existed, but the books describe it as a legendary item, and Future Guide Relic was one of the first relics to incorporate itself into the human world. Unlike other relics, it chose its owner by itself. Sasaki Yuka was the one who was chosen by the relic as its owner. No matter where she went, the book would follow her to that place. When even shredding, burning, or abandoning the future guide didn't work, she finally accepted it as the Japanese government helped her learn more about the future guide. The government asked her to cooperate and support the country using her relic for a hefty cash payment, which helped her family out of hardships and lives affluently. The Japanese government got numerous relics using the future guide, but the problem started when Sasaki left her studies to put in more time to read the future guide, but it all backfired, as when difficult kanji words appeared in the book she was not able to understand them. Eventually another future reading relic user replaced her by outperforming her, and she died. Joo-hyun reached Incheon Airport to go to take care of Sasaki, who was trying to locate his location of him. On the other side, Sasaki has become something like a spoiled kid of government money. Her father pushes her away from the TV to go read some future guide. Sasaki was shocked by what she read. It said she will die, and she is clear about it. She was confident that the Korean man who killed Abe-san will also come and kill her. Joo-hyun reached the Haneda Airport in Japan, as the Japanese army was already aware that Joo-hyun will be there anytime they were prepared in the airport. Joo-hyun stopped at a sushi store while the government men were ready outside the restaurant. They sent Sasaki to serve more sushi to him, as they wanted her to make eye contact with her to perfectly tag her using her relic. Sasaki entered the room but was mesmerized by Joo-hyun's look. She served him his sushi as Joo-hyun stood ready with his hands on the sword in case of an attack. Sasaki was so impressed by Joo-hyun's handsomeness that she closed the door and sat beside him. She asked him if she can become her fan even though he is not a celebrity in real life. She typed a message for him on her phone saying that she has fallen in with him, she can see the future, and that he has a girlfriend. Joo-hyun wasn't expecting such treatment from her and was confused about why would she act like that in a terrible situation like this. Joo-hyun typed some message to her, and she, without giving it a second thought, agreed to it. As soon as she agreed to that, he broke through the door, tied the officers using his rope relic, and escaped out of the restaurant with Sasaki, as he made her believe that she does not need to worry about the officers and asked her to go on a date with him. Joo-hyun seduced Sasaki with his charm and convinced her to a date. After coming out of the restaurant, both walked away from it as much as they could. Sasaki was confident herself, as she thought she has the advantage because she had already made eye contact with him, so she can see the future whenever she wants to. Also, she thought that Joo-hyun does not know her true identity just yet. Joo-hyun suddenly pointed his katana towards Sasaki and asked her to instantly hand over her mobile phone. He crushed the cell phone using his and cleared that he already knows that she is the future guide relic user of Japan. Afterward, they went to another restaurant, but he kept Sasaki tied using his rope. Sasaki got scared of Joo-hyun. Now she asked him if he will kill her, but calmed down when she got to know that Joo-hyun changed his plans. Joo-hyun ordered her to write everything about his future for him. Sasaki was shocked to know that she can summon her guide by touching the tattoo on her wrist. Sasaki had no choice but to keep typing for the same of her life. As time passed by, she got really tired, but Joo-hyun denied giving her any kind of break even after she complained that her hand hurts. Out of pain, she even offered to give the future guide to Joo-hyun, but it wasn't of any use as he kept denying her offer. Joo-hyun also wanted to take the future guide for himself, but he didn't because he knew that the future guide is a rank S grade, which is pretty high on the list of relics. If he tries to use dominance over such a high-rated relic, the resistance force will be too high and will end up hurting his body badly. When he tried to dominate Musuramasa, it damaged his arm, but if Joo-hyun tries to dominate Future Diary, it will just harm all other body parts too, and he doesn't have any kind of healing relic to heal his injuries. While Joo-hyun was busy thinking about all this, the Japanese government traced out their location and were already inside the restaurant premises, making sure they don't let anyone leave the place. Joo-hyun collected all the pages Sasaki had already written and took out his sword again. Sasaki was terrified as she thought her last moments of life are already here. She begged and offered that she will write more prophecies. Joo-hyun told her that this offer doesn't hold any value for him and she is being used by the relic instead of using the relic. He swung his katana and destroyed the book. Ju Hyun unlocked the Destroyer of Evil Relics title as his domination increased with it. His spy skill got promoted to E rank and was notified that he has become aware of the giant hunter. The government officers rushed inside the room but were already too late to save the important relic. The head officer commanded other officers to shoot Ju Hyun. Ju Hyun, instead of getting scared, taunted the men and questioned their capabilities as he threw the Machai relic that he sneaked by Abe the Excavator. Within the next moment, the smell of the Machai spread all around the room. All the officers started snatching the Machai and ended up using guns at each other. Ju Hyun praised the Machai's ability to charm others and to let the owner teleport instantly to another place. Ju Hyun checked what Sasaki wrote in the paper in the hope to find something worth knowing about the CEO, but was shocked to read that the world's greatest calamity will begin in the underworld of the place ripe with greed, referring to Las Vegas, where he sent his henchmen to search about the CEO and to attend the Mythical auction as well. The Great Calamity or the Great Catastrophe refers to the event which occurred in Ju Hyun's previous life. It is an event describing the relic's immense influence all over the world. It was after this event that the world got to know about the relics and tomb rating increased. The next line of the paper said that a god-tier relic will probably appear in the auction, as Ju Hyun got excited to snatch the opportunity of getting a god-tier relic from the CEO. Meanwhile, CIA agent Linda peeked inside the hall room and overheard all the updates from the Japanese government officials. She informed all these details about the destruction of the future guide to her office in Las Vegas. She also informed me about the Korean men who did all this to the Japanese government. The official planned to take over Ju Hyun using a hefty amount of cash. Ju Hyun's henchmen and his men finally reached the destined location 30 minutes late, as they were not allowed to enter the Mythical property by the guards. Kyung provided Ju Hyun with the information and details of the 3 men who registered themselves in Mythical with the name JK. Ju Hyun confirmed that CEO is going to enter the auction, as this is his fake name only. Kyung was shocked to know that Ju Hyun was going to take part in the auction. Mythical is the biggest black market auction in the world. The bids usually start at 10-20 million won. Ju Hyun smirked and left to get some money for the auction. He reminded Kyung and his men who were following him a few steps behind him that Las Vegas is called the city of gambling. Ju Hyun entered one of the gambling clubs and started playing in one of the gambling slot machines. He started winning the lottery over the lottery, and the won money just kept on increasing. Kyung and others witnessing this were just shocked, looking at how lucky a man can be. The money just crossed 6 million as he kept on playing, even though 10 more slots were left. After finishing all the tries, Ju Hyun took the voucher which had all the cash rewards hidden in it. Went as they were just about to go to a different location, a man from the club stopped them who was also there witnessing Ju Hyun's awesome luck. He asked to check Ju Hyun once, as he couldn't believe that a person can hit so many jackpots. He patted Ju Hyun down, but he was carefree because he already hid his relic in form of a sleek golden knife as a souvenir. The golden axe can detect wealth and valuables, which helped Ju Hyun to win so many jackpots at once. Relics can change their shape according to themselves. The officer apologized and left Ju Hyun as he couldn't find anything on him. Ju Hyun then cashed out the voucher he won from the lotteries. Kyung still couldn't process that they now have so much money in their hands. He suggested just easily living off their life with this money, but was denied by Ju Hyun because his goal is to acquire relics from the auction house and to fight against CEO Kwon. Suddenly another message popped up notifying that Ju Hyun's sociability has risen with his spy skill. Similar to a battlefield, another place where humans find despair and sorry is at casinos. The places where people suffer are heavenly places for relics because of their inborn hate for the same. The silver axe in the bag started doing a movement. While the golden axe can seek out wealth, the silver axe can find and mark enemies who are a threat to the master's relics. Ju Hyun suddenly observes everything is happening badly around them. Some people are losing money, some are fighting with each other, and suddenly the dealer of the casino attacked Ju Hyun. Even though he easily dodged, he was really confused about why all of this happening. Of nowhere, a beautiful blonde girl in her black dress appeared out of nowhere. While everyone were looking at her in awe, Ju Hyun had a troubled look on his face. He asked the men to instantly grab the money and leave the place. He knew that the real reason for all the trouble they are seeing is this girl only. Irene Hilton, the youngest daughter of the wealthy Hilton family, but the thing which was unique about her is that she possessed a god-tier relic. God-tier relics are the strongest out of all the relics. The user who wielded these god-tier relics was able to stand above all the other relic users in the world. Because of this, these users gained titles known as the God. Like the God of Fate, the God of Wealth, etc. These users were the ones who had absolute authority in the era of relics. Irene was the user of a frightening relic. Her title was God of Failure in her previous life. It gave her the ability to spread extreme misfortune wherever she went. She also caused a financial crisis on a global scale in their last life, and Ju Hyun knew that he must avoid her at all costs. But before Ju Hyun could run away, Irene just started coming right towards him. He tried to avoid her. Suddenly the system started pushing in tabs as the ominous aura of Irene was damaging Ju Hyun's relic, and the usage allowance started decreasing at a huge rate. Irene just catch up with Joo-hyun's face and stopped him and asked him to listen to what she said. Joo-hyun had no choice but to listen to what she is saying as she completely trapped him. The system started pushing in more notifications as he was being held by the ominous aura. His relics were taking damage and their status started deteriorating. Joo-hyun's luck started decreasing with the decrease in his performance. Joo-hyun rudely shook her off his hands as she apologized for acting so excited and jumping here and there. Kyung was just confused by the reaction Joo-hyun was giving her. He couldn't understand why would he act rudely and avoid such a beautiful girl. One of the men suddenly recognized that she is Irene Hilton from the American wealthy Hilton family. Irene was just focused on Joo-hyun. She asked him if he was the one who had multiple jackpots at the casino and that she has been looking here and there for him. She inquired if Joo-hyun could tell him how he was so lucky and won so many jackpots just by himself, and also if can teach him how to accomplish that. Joo-hyun just denied on her face and started going the other way. Kyung intercepted in between and asked him again why he is doing that and to smooth things out with her, instead of letting the chance go away from right in front of his eyes. The moment he looked back, everyone near Irene fell or was in a worsened state. Joo-hyun dragged Kyung out of the place and asked her to stay away from her as much as he can. He ordered Kyung to take the money bag and the men to a shelter and come meet him when he asks him for the money over a call. Joo-hyun left for the Mythical auction house after saying all this. Joo-hyun was minding his own business when a man in his spectacles confronted him rudely and asked him to get away from the VIP entry gate. It was none other than Yoon Si-woo, the right-hand man of his enemy CEO Kwon. The presence of Si-woo proves that CEO is also present in the auction. When Joo-hyun met CEO Kwon's eyes, all the past suffering and pain Joo-hyun went through was right in front of his eyes, and also a reminder of his promise to destroy the CEO any way possible. Joo-hyun suddenly noticed the same scene that occurred back in the casino. Everything fell and bad events started occurring here and there. This was just a hint that Irene is probably here near him. Irene came closer to Joo-hyun and begged him to listen to her. Joo-hyun repeated that he does not want to be any part of anything she is doing, but she still kept insisting. She told him that unexpectedly something is wrong with her, and wherever she goes she causes misfortune and pain to those around her, and that's why she wants some of Joo-hyun's good luck, as this is the only left way she can make the people around her happy. Joo-hyun couldn't understand at all. The Irene he knew ruined countless lives and wreaked havoc across multiple countries, so why is she acting so polite and kind to him? The tolerance skill in Joo-hyun's body started increasing due to the continuous exposure to the aura of a god-tier relic. The tolerance skill he gained from the silver pill finally got active. Now that Joo-hyun has tolerance, he could listen to what Irene was trying to say. Also, she can help during the auction as she is from a really rich family. Irene's relic started affecting everyone around her except Joo-hyun. CEO Kwon's factory set up in China caught fire. He accepted her proposal, but he also told her that it is hard and that before talking in detail he must go and attend the auction first. He asked her if she wanted to join him in the auction even though the tickets are really expensive, but Irene instantly was on her feet to get the ticket. Money is not a problem for the daughter of the Hilton family. Joo-hyun and Irene took their seats as the 74th auction of Mythical began. After allowing Irene Hilton to attend the auction, within 3 minutes the auction attendees have reduced to half as they had to go and deal with some sudden misfortune they had to go through. CEO Kwon didn't leave even though his factory set up in China was set up on fire, referring that there is something more important in the auction he needs to acquire. The starting half of the auction was not that interesting as no item came up which could be worth buying. Joo-hyun still couldn't believe why the scary Irene, the god of failure, is completely different now. She is not even putting up an act either. The weirdest part of all this is that she does not have any idea about relics or the world of relics, and she just thinks that she has been cursed. One huge possibility is that the original god of failure is a kind-hearted girl, but due to the harsh effects of the misfortune relic attaching to her life without any knowledge of the relics corrupted her personality and transformed her into an evil person. Irene thanked Joo-hyun for listening to her problem while others did not believe in her words at all. Another notification suddenly popped up. The aura of the misfortune relic suddenly increased because of the owner's mood. Joo-hyun realized the powers of the misfortune relic as all his relics started getting more and more damage. All the relics started complaining. Joo-hyun had no choice but to make her a bit sad by making her think of the possibility of failing, and it is not assured that if her luck gets better, it will stop bringing misfortune to the people around her. Joo-hyun recognized that he can use her ability to eliminate other people who may try to bid for the items in the auction. He again used his words to charm her and made her happy. He also tricked her into believing that he would be able to fix all of his issues immediately. Such a spike in her mood inflicted a huge effect on her aura and got strong. The attendees lost all of their sense of reason and started betting on everything that came across their eyes, leading to the loss of all their money over useless pricey items. As everyone already blew up their money over the items in the first half of the auction, Ju-hyun was able to safely secure all the relics in the second half of the auction. CEO Kwon did bid against Ju-hyun for some relics as Irene didn't have many effects on him due to his high dominance trait. Ju-hyun's excellent knowledge of relics resulted in advantage a situation in the same case. Even though the auction list ended, no god-ranked relic was offered. As Ju-hyun was about to leave the auction, the announcer presented a special surprise item as they revealed a small almond sapling. It was a Qin Shi Huang elixir plant, a god-tier healing type relic. Emperor Qin Shi Huang was a powerful emperor during the Qin dynasty. The emperor dispatched his men to numerous places to find the rumored elixir of life. After many years, the elixir of life found was an almond sapling. In Ju-hyun's previous life, the CEO already possessed the relic, and as Ju-hyun was ill from the relic, he was dependent on the fruit of the plant. As a result, instead of money, he started getting fruit for all the work he did for the company, putting a leash on his life. An aggressive bid started between both men. The bid started at $200,000 and reached $10 million. Ju-hyun realized that he won't be able to win the money fight alone against the CEO of such a big company. He finally began his trade with Irene. He asked her to help him buy the relic with her money. So that is it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.